everybody. I am coming to you live from my back deck at home. One of the awesome things about the situation, I always try to look on the bright side of things, is I can work from wherever these days. And right now I'm on my back deck. So I have a very special program today for Coffee on the Coast because I have a project with us, a group with us that I had just learned about recently. And I'll let them tell you more about what they're doing. But Colleen and Trent from Live Forever Project are visiting today. How are you guys doing?
Good. Yeah, we're doing great.
Well,
So Live Forever Project was brought to my attention by my friend Patty over at Holy Family Memorial, and she said, "Jason, you guys got to check out this Live Forever Project. They're really doing some awesome things." So can you describe what Live Forever Project was, or excuse me, is, and maybe what you were known as before? Maybe some people know you as that, and just kind of what your mission and your vision is, and what you're doing.
Absolutely. So, first of all, thank you for having us on the show. We really appreciate it a lot. So the mission of the Live Forever Project is to keep memories alive using the power of the arts. So specifically what we do is we interview local senior citizens. When we first started, we focused on like people of the greatest generation, World War II veterans, and those who lived through World War II and the Great Depression. Since then, we've expanded to folks outside of that area, as we kind of like to call the people we interview wisdom keepers of the community, because they have a lot of wisdom to share. And so we interview these people, and we look for themes in their stories, and then we turn their stories into various art forms. So we do poetry, we do theater, music and songwriting, dance, some lifted monologues and storytelling, and we kind of integrate them all into a big overarching production. So you could say it's a musical theater production, but maybe not in the traditional sense of musical theater. It really integrates all of the different art forms. And we've done 3 full-length productions. The first one was called The Lucky Ones, and that was all based on World War II stories from my grandma and grandpa. My grandpa was stationed in New Guinea in World War II. And the project kind of got started with them. So we ran that show for quite a while. We also did a full-length show on a woman from Sheboygan named Barbara, who was a child at the end of World War II and Great Depression, and had some vivid memories from that time. And then we did kind of a showcase production that was a combination of different people's stories. And now we're planning our next full-length show, which is coming this spring. But to get back to kind of how it started, so it really started with my grandparents, Alice and Eugene Hilke. And we were at a point in time when, as artists, with my group of colleagues that I was with, we were looking for the bigger purpose of why we do our art forms. And about that same time, my grandparents were actually in a car accident, and it ended up that it was a minor accident, but it still really scared me. And it made me realize how important and how fragile these stories are. And so those 2 things kind of came together in my mind. And I thought, how can we use our talents and use our artistic experience to try to keep these memories alive? So that's kind of how the idea was generated. And we kind of went from there. And started expanding beyond just family to other people in the community as well.
That's very cool. That's really awesome. You know, it's our stories that define us. We all have unique stories. And oftentimes I find myself, now my father has passed away many years in 2005. And I bring this up because he was in the Vietnam War, and you mentioned World War II and your grandparents. And I am often telling stories to my son about his grandpa, who he didn't have a chance to really meet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I can keep my dad alive to my son. So it's really says something about our heritage, where we're from. You know, I constantly learn from telling the stories of my father and my grandfather, both war veterans especially, and the things that they told me, and the stories that are passed down. Because if it stops with me, it's kind of like they really die for real. But if the stories live on, their experience lives on. And it can teach the next generation. So I really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm very much into it. Where do you do your performances?
We've done them kind of throughout the lakeshore. A lot in Manitowoc, a lot in Sheboygan, some in Two Rivers as well. So those are kind of our three main local points. There are some kind of around those areas too, outside of those areas. But we'd like to expand as much as we can. We're looking to start other like community troops in other places that can replicate what we're doing here. So we're kind of creating like a template for what we do and hoping to expand that. We're also looking at getting students involved. So working with the schools to get some kids working on stuff and kind of uniting the generations in that way too, and making that a really powerful experience for them, especially, you know, in COVID world, when we don't have access to people as much as we want to. It's really important to preserve these memories that are at risk, even more so in the current times.
Yeah.
And in our upcoming show, which is in May 2021, which hopefully everything will work out where we're able to have that show. You know, yeah, cross fingers. But we're getting a lot of community groups involved. So we're reaching out to different groups of dancers and actors and, you know, local theater companies, singers from all different areas. And we're bringing them together into this one show. We have like percussionists. We've reached out to the UWs, you know, just because we have a variety of pieces and a variety of styles, then we kind of let local artists adopt those pieces and we bring them together into that bigger show. So that's kind of what we're trying with this upcoming show, and we're excited to see how it works. So
That is super cool. I can see this being a great educational tool for folks. My son is 15, and his attention span is not as long as mine was at 15. So I could sit in class for a long time, but you know, it'd be a great teaching tool for teaching not only local history but world history, because a lot of people have traveled, especially those that have went off to fight in wars. So what a wonderful project! How did you guys get this idea? Oh, you already told me with your grandparents, right?
yeah,
I think it's just
yeah.
amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's very fulfilling, and it's nice to have a bigger why behind your art, you know, and your theater and your
Yeah.
music, and also an opportunity to develop artistically ourselves too, and a reason to do that. When we first started the project, I didn't really consider myself a songwriter, and now we have like the equivalent of 2 full-length albums that we have created, 2
Wow.
10-song albums from our shows, and we're writing more, you know, constantly. So that's kind of it was a nice way for me to grow as an artist, and we kind of just try to keep pushing ourselves.
Yeah. It's very, very cool. So I understand you guys, I see Trent there with his guitar. And I understand that you have a song or two prepared.
Yeah, we would like to
So
share
tell
with you
us a little
today.
bit about that. Yeah.
Sure. So we're kind of the songwriting duo of the troupe. All the troupe members kind of have an area of specialty that they bring to the group, whether that be experience and, you know, connections, or, you know, working on the overarching script, or the dance aspect of things, or some other troupe members are also teachers, so they help with the you know, education connections that we do. So we kind of contribute a lot in the musical and songwriting areas. And this is my husband Trent, if we didn't say that
Hi, Trent.
already.
Hello.
So we're kind of the
Hi,
songwriting
Trent.
duo.
Hi.
And the first song we'd like to share with you is actually a song that we wrote about my grandpa in World War II. Like I said, he was stationed in New Guinea, and he told us about how he felt going into the war as a young man, not really knowing what to expect. So this song is called Not Really, and it's from the perspective of my grandpa as a young soldier. Turned 18, joined the National Guard. $2 a week, it shouldn't be too hard. I'll serve my term, 6 months and no more, 'cause I'm not really going to war. My term got extended, now I'm on my way to sail across the ocean from San Francisco Bay. But we'll turn back before we see the shore, 'cause I'm not really going to war. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Landed in Australia after 23 days past. Next stop, New Guinea, walking through the jungle grass. There's been word of battle, but they'll give up for sure, 'cause I'm not really going to war. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We're marching into gunfire, the enemy is near. I never thought this day would come, but suddenly it's here. When I signed up, I didn't know what I was in for, and now I'm really going to war. When I signed up, I didn't know what I was in for, and now I'm really going to war.
Wow. Wow. I just got to say, that was really powerful, you guys.
Thank you.
I felt like I was walking in his boots. That was really powerful. I had a mandate from my wife as well. It says, play a song. So she's the boss and she knows. So do you guys have another one?
Yeah, we do. So that song was from our first show, like I said, about my grandparents who were, in their World War II stories. And then our second full-length show was called Take Care of Barbara, based on the life of a local Sheboygan woman. And when she was little, it was kind of towards the end of the Great Depression. Her family was very poor. And one of the things she told us about was that if she wanted toys, oftentimes she had to make them herself. So this song is called Wallpaper Doll, and it's from the perspective of Barbara kind of talking to these toys that she has created on her own. What lovely jewels you have, miss. I adore your necklace. Amethyst, octagons, triangle, diamonds. It's time for a party, yes, that's plain to see. Will you walk there arm in arm with me? What a beautiful hat you have, miss, with dainty blue flowers around the rim. Your hat is as white as pure clouds in the sky, with periwinkle petals that break out your eyes. It's time for church, yes, that's plain to see. Will you pray there side by side with me? You're my wallpaper doll, my sweet wallpaper doll. I know that you are just paper and glue, but sometimes it feels like you're almost real. You're my wallpaper doll, my sweet wallpaper doll. You're my wallpaper doll. What wonderful dreams you have, miss. I know that you'll make a difference. So many hopes out there waiting for you. Someday you'll make all your wishes come true. Don't stop believing in what you can be. Will you keep on dreaming big dreams with me? You're my wallpaper doll, my sweet wallpaper doll. I know that you are just paper and glue, but sometimes it feels like you're almost real. You're my wallpaper doll, my sweet wallpaper doll. You're my wallpaper doll. What lovely jewels, what a beautiful hat, what wonderful dreams, and after all that, when you have some time, miss, if you happen to be free, will you go on a horseback ride with me? And now it's time for bed, miss. I'll give you a good night kiss. Your eyelids are sleepy, yes, that's plain to see. But listen a little bit longer to me. I'm sure store-bought toys would fill me with joy. But the best toys I recall cost nothing at all. You're my wallpaper doll, my sweet wallpaper doll. The friendship I feel is what makes you real. The magic I feel is what makes you real. The love that I feel is what makes you real. You're my wallpaper doll, my sweet wallpaper doll. Oh, sweet wallpaper doll, you're more than a wallpaper doll to me. You're more than a wallpaper doll to me.
Very nice. Very cool. All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
The boss says bravo. By the way, there you
Thank
go.
you.
Thank you.
So I have your website down here on the screen, guys. Is that the best way that people can stay engaged with the Live Forever project and follow your shows? And
Yeah, definitely. We try to keep the site up to date and going, and people can see our mission statement. They can see samples of our work. They can see our bios. We try to keep that a pretty active site. So, yeah.
very, very cool. Well, we're going to have you guys on again closer to showtime and follow the progress of your upcoming show. Thank you so much for joining me today and playing a couple tunes and telling me your story. We look forward to hearing more from you in the future.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
Awesome. You guys have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
Good.
You
Thanks.
too.
You too.